Hello, and welcome to our podcast, 1 Timothy, Verse by Verse, brought to you by Telios. This captivating podcast will detail each verse of 1 Timothy, providing guidance on church leadership, sound doctrine, and godly living. It lays a foundation for ordaining elders and provides practical advice for church governance. Thanks for joining us on this exciting biblical journey.
Hi, I'm William Stewart. Welcome back to our verse-by-verse study on the book of 1 Timothy. Such a good book. Tells us so much about ministering in the church. Paul, who is the author and is instructing his beloved disciple Timothy, who has a younger man, has a huge responsibility of leading this important church in a large commercial center of Ephesus in Southwest Asia Minor. And you can tell, if you've seen the prior videos, and I hope you have, he's had a lot of problems. And we get to another problem today, the social aspects of the church. There's a wide section here, like the whole chapter 5, of dealing with social issues in the church. Now, for those of you who like, good admonishments and wisdom on the Christian life that are hard-hitting and impactful and useful, this seems like a long section. It does to me sometimes. And yet it also deals with the problem of the church in that bringing Christians together, they are social institutions. And so there's, as people come in, there are expectations, some of them not wholly healthy or altogether healthy, and that the church has to try to resolve and deal with these issues. In the Roman Empire, I think this is heightened, perhaps, that the issues of the social aspects are heightened in that, again, these people are coming to the church from probably pretty rough backgrounds, very male-dominated, hierarchical backgrounds, and not well-versed in probably being polite. These were non-Christian cultures, so they had a lot to learn. In addition, there wasn't really too much of a social welfare system in ancient Rome. Now, in Rome, they did give away bread and sometimes other foodstuffs for free to the population, to the poorer classes, and sometimes land was given away, and more frequently in the later years to the military. However, there was not a good social system empire-wide. So people probably came to the church for social help. Here were nice Christians who were probably willing to give money, as today, to help people. And they probably could not find this in any other way. Thus, I think we'll see this in the chapter, probably non-Christians showed up and perhaps acted like Christians at some level, terrors, as Christ would call them in Matthew 13. And it was hard to differentiate them or exclude them from the church or the social help. So these were real issues that the church was facing. So let's look at the first two verses today. Rebuke not an elder. The word here, rebuke, is not used very much. It's to be rough, sort of braid a older man. Now, this is also the word used for an elder, a leader of the church, but I think in context, it's just talking about an older man, presbyteros, which it can also mean as well. But entreat him, beseech him, as a father. So if you have an issue, be careful. Do it gently and encourage him. Again, showing respect. Younger men as brothers, otherwise treat them well with respect and gentility, mildness. The Greek word praus, otherwise be convivial, approachable, not argumentative. Verse 2, the elder women as mothers, otherwise show these women the respect you would show your own mother. And I think for everything I read in the Roman Empire, mothers were accorded respect. They led the household, took care of the household and the kids, and they certainly must have garnered that. But I don't know this in detail. So if somebody has different information, please send me a message through the website at telehouseresearch.com. Younger women as sisters in all purity. Again, this is sex was pretty common, and extramarital sex affairs very common in the Roman Empire. So he's entreating them, the other women for which the males for which they might lust, or for whom they might lust, treat them as sisters, and don't, again, with respect, protect them as you would your own sister, and not touch them, basically. Or you can touch your sister, obviously, but to treat them, even in that touch, in a respectful, non-sexual way. Okay, so 2 important verses in terms of social relationships between genders and generations in the church, with the overriding theme of purity, respect, gentility, and not being argumentative, mean, and berating people. So we'll continue next time. We get into a wide section, or about 10, 11 verses on widows, and that were very important socially during that time, and also in our own time, and how to handle them in the church. Thank you for joining me today. I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast, 1 Timothy, Verse by Verse. We hope you found the teachings both interesting and informative. Join us next week for another exciting episode. To listen to all episodes, please visit our website at teleosresearch.com.